Pain is often the best indicator that something needs to change in your business. But change is a good thing. I think they don't call it growing joys, they call it growing pains. And so if you feel pain, it means change needs to take place. If change takes place, it means something's getting better, something's getting more valuable, you're getting to where you want to be. I'm Arthur Petropoulos, the managing partner here at Hillview Partners. We're a middle market, lower middle market investment banking, M&A advisory firm, helping companies generating typically $1 million, $10 million a year, pre-tax earnings or EBITDA, to sell their businesses or secure capital. So in today's video, we want to walk through 5 pains that we hear from business owners as we're talking about selling businesses, as we're talking about finding capital for companies, as we're talking about just growing the value of businesses. And each one of these pains we find is an indication of some change that needs to take place to ultimately better the business, ultimately better the existence of the business owner or executives. Pain number 1. Do you not have enough time to focus on the things you'd like to focus on? Do you not have sufficient bandwidth to be able to spend your time most effectively? We find that the cause of this symptom, if you will, tends to be that you don't have a sufficient team to allocate responsibilities to. Now, if you look across all of the processes of a business, whether it's selling things, whether it's doing things, whether it's overseeing and administering things, invoices, bills, reading contracts, etc. Where is the point of the business that creates a bottleneck? Where is the point of the business that time gets sapped? Where you say, I spend so much time doing X that I can't focus on Y. That is the thing that needs to be allocated. That is the next person you need to bring into your business. Again, person can be a vendor, person can be a contractor, person can be a software, person can be a person. But where is the next component of your business that needs to be allocated in order to get back some of your bandwidth? Pain number 2. Do you have a great product, but no one's buying it? You don't have sufficient sales or adequate sales or the sales you'd like to have in your business? This symptom is often caused by 2 variables. 1, people don't know you exist. And so this goes into whether it's marketing, advertising, content, making it aware to someone. And this can be in the church newsletter, or it can be on TikTok. So it can be as sophisticated or as new or as old as you want to. Wouldn't suggest standing on top of City Hall and yelling at people that walk by. But the idea is, this doesn't have to be the most clever thing in the world. It's just a matter of iterating, getting your name out there. So that's awareness. And then the second component, or the second thing that tends to cause the symptom or the pain of not having enough sales, is not having an actual sales process. So again, if one day you're handing out cards, if the next day you're going to meetings, if the next day you're giving seminars, if the next day you're sending emails, sometimes if it's just too fragmented, it's not going to get the critical mass necessary to get the pull through. And so when thinking of sales, we always say to people, how do you get sales now? Yes, there's an element of waiting for the phone to ring, of getting referrals, things of that nature, but what is the proactive sales process that you have right now to let people know that you exist, to let people know about your product, to get them into your funnel? Do more of that. Make it systemized. Have a way of quantifying the inputs. We mean inputs is, if it's cold calling, how many calls do you make a day? If it's emails, how many emails are sent a month? If it's airplanes flying over beaches with flags hanging after them, it's fairly expensive, but how many times is the airplane going over the beach and how many people are seeing it, right? If you can distill your marketing and sales efforts to some sort of an input, how many shots at the basket are we taking, you can ultimately calculate your field goal percentage. You can ultimately calculate the pull through to the next part of the funnel. Problem number 3, do people not want your stuff even if they know it exists? And in this case, there could be 2 fundamental problems. One is your stuff's not good. Now, if you have sales, if you have happy customers, if you've been in business a long time, that's likely not the case. But what we do find is sometimes people are selling someone something that they didn't ask for. If you're in the business of selling banquets, large parties, and someone says, I really want a hot dog, I really want a hot dog, and you say, yeah, we'll have hot dogs at the banquet. It may be easier to just sell them a hot dog, and then while they're eating the hot dog and saying how great it is, talk to them about banquets that include hot dogs, right? The idea is give people what they want first, and then talk about the big thing that you want to sell them. Sometimes it's not about what you want, it's about what your customer wants. It's about their pain indirectly, and so if you solve their pain, they'll be much more amenable to other things you offer. Now, this doesn't mean if your whole business is five-star dining to then start contorting and trying to fit everybody's want in this world. There's going to be some people that want something, that something is kind of like yours, but it's not, and unfortunately you're going to just have to say, sorry, we don't have that. However, if you're ever in the market for what we do have, happy to accommodate. But that being said, when you're thinking of the productization of your business, and we've talked about that in prior videos, if you're thinking about the different things you may sell or the different offerings you have, try to hit a few different spheres. Try to think of how you could bring someone, escalate them up the ladder of your offerings so that it's not just a purely binary want this or not. Now again, you don't need to have 75 different options, and always stay to the core of your business of what you know and what you're good at. However, sell people what they want. Sounds simple, not always easy to execute, and it needs to permeate all of the sales in the business and communications with prospective clients as well. Problem number 4. Do you have the ideas and the opportunities, but you're just lacking the money to pursue it? This is oftentimes what we see in businesses as they progress to a certain level of sophistication. So if you think of the evolution of a business, you start off selling things to people. You make $1. You then say, how many more dollars can I make? And you are selling more, and you are kind of filling up the capacity that you have. At a certain point in time, when you become very good at something, you're going to see a world of opportunity present itself. There's thousands of companies that want this thing. There's thousands and millions of people that want these things. And you're going to say, I cannot sufficiently capture this incremental demand by just taking the profit of the business and redeploying it into the future. I cannot just take money out of my own pocket and keep doing it because there's not enough money. There's more opportunity than money. And then if you can quantify the return on that money, so if you say, oh, you know what, if I had $1 million, I could quickly make it into $5 million, well then at that point you have to start thinking about outside capital. You have to start saying, if I could borrow money at 8%, if I could borrow fast money at 12%, but I could 5x it within a year, well then it makes sufficient sense to continue to just redeploy capital and to use outside capital. And that can be in the shape of debt, as we just alluded to. It could be in the shape of equity. There's lots of different forms. But if you feel like you're constrained by capital, if you feel like the opportunity is there and someone else is going to get it because they have the money to pursue it and you don't, that's the situation where it's worth contemplating bringing in some sort of outside capital to accelerate what already works. And problem number 5, are you just tired of what you're doing and don't want to do it anymore? And this isn't a bad thing. It's yourself sometimes telling yourself that this season of life may have reached its pinnacle, may have reached where it is. Now what we say to people when they say, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm done with it, we say, please see questions 1 through 4. Go through those. If those are the constraint points, let's find a resolution to that to continue growing the business. However, if all of those things have been effectuated, if all of those things have been attempted, and you're at the point where you say, it's just time for the next season of life, that's a time to contemplate selling a business. And that's when you say, it's good that you're thinking about it while the momentum, while the trajectory of the business is still moving upward. It's always better to do things a touch too early than a touch too late. If you had to pick one, nobody wants to be, old man in the outfield that can't run anymore. And so if the goal is to now spend more time with family, if the goal is to spend more time on the beach, to travel more, to pursue other business interests, to pursue recreational interests, things you wanted to do your whole life, if you're exhausted, if you are fatigued, if you do not want to continue doing what you're doing, time to contemplate an exit, time to monetize what you've built, turning it into cash, to be able to roll that into the next season of life. That may be the thing to contemplate and the path to be pursued. So, to round up today's video and to summarize, if you are feeling pain, good. It means you are receptive, it means you are perceptive to some sort of change that needs to take place with your business and perhaps within yourself. We're not going to get into any therapy lingo here, but there are pragmatic steps that can be taken to resolve and to mitigate these pain points within a business. We'll run through them again one more time. Don't have enough time? Get other people's time. Get people to allocate. Build up the team within your company. don't have sales, people need to know you exist. You need to have processes in place that allow you to get shots on goal on a repeatable, dependable, durable fashion. People don't want what you have. Well, if you have a lot of clients, it's probably good. Just the people you're talking to may want something slightly different, may want a variation, may want a different tier or strata of your main offering. Number 4, there's more opportunities than you have capital. Well, then you need capital. And if you have something that works, then think of capital as an accelerant. It's risky to say, I want to pour all the money into the world into this idea that might work. But if the idea works, and it's purely just saying, I need capital to get more clients, to get more shots on goal, to get more pull through from a process that you know works, that can be a very effective tool and oftentimes the only means of keeping up with competition and getting ahead. And number 5, don't want to keep doing this? It's time to, again, recontemplate numbers 1 through 4, yet if the conclusion is still that this season of life is over, then time to find a suitor, an acquirer, a prospective counterparty to come in and be the right steward for the business for the next chapter and monetize all of the hard work that you've built up and not letting it deteriorate, fall back into chaos, or start to lose momentum. And so that's the thought for today. As I believe Ray Dalio had alluded to, pain plus reflection equals progress. From our perspective, we take it one further step and say pain plus reflection plus change equals progress, equals evolution, equals increased value of your business, whether you decide to keep it, sell it, capitalize it, or anything else. So that's the thought for today. Appreciate everyone's time. God bless. Keep pushing forward. We'll see everyone next time.